Hey there, Storm fans. Brent Cook. Today, once again, we are playing Lurrus Lotus Breach. What a great reception we had to that first video. Wow. As of today, it's at 5,100 views, and I greatly appreciate all of your support helping it get into that YouTube algorithm. I really do, I'm so thankful. So thank you to everyone that watched it. But there are some questions that some of you had, like, is Lurrus a requirement? How good is Mishra's Bauble? Why aren't you playing Thought Scour? Have you considered Vizier of the Tumbling Sands? All of these things I did consider, but I figured, hey, even if I think something's wrong or I dislike it, I should at least try it. It's part of becoming a better player as well as a deck builder. So over this last week, I've tried literally all of those things. So I tried lists without Lurrus, I tried lists with Thought Scour, Vizier, you name it, I've tried it, no Bauble. So I'm going to share some of these things with you today, and then some of the slight changes I've made. So I did try no Lurrus, and with trying no Lurrus, you can play Vizier of the Tumbling Sands, or of Tumbling Sands. There's no the. Vizier's really good when you're already winning. That's it. So otherwise, it's a bad cantrip that doesn't give you any equity. It's just literally just draw a card. But when you're winning, you don't really need the Vizier most of the time, at least in my experience. It's sort of just like a win more card. There was like one cool game that I actually hardcast and untapped a Lotus Field, but I felt like that was pretty rare. For the most part, I wasn't super impressed with Vizier. And then a lot of you were like, hey, you should be playing Thought Scour. So in that first video that you could check out in the card above, I said why I didn't play Thought Scour. I don't think it's very good. It doesn't replace itself on Breach, and it doesn't give you what you need to do, which is you need to find Lotus Field. And at least Mishra's Bauble you can use with fetch lands to get a pseudo scry to help find Lotus Field while fueling the graveyard for free. So you're not using that mana. One of the things about this deck is that your deck is just full of 1-drops, like just chock full of 1-drops. You're not going to have time to cast all of your 1-drops in some games, and the fact that Bauble is free is actually pretty important. It also has synergy with Lurrus and then discard spells, so don't take that for granted. But with Thought Scour, I found myself just like randomly cantripping, and once again, that's really bad when you have to find Lotus Field, which is just what our deck needs to do in order to function. So I don't think fueling the graveyard is big of an issue, especially with the main deck Tome Scour, which is a change we've made. I've talked about it. It was actually the pinned comment in that first video that I liked Tome Scour in the first 2 leagues I tried it, and then I've continued to play it since then. So with main deck Tome Scour, you definitely don't need Thought Scour in my opinion. You just don't need to fuel the graveyard up to 10, 11 cards as often. So I've been a big fan of the Tome Scour. And Thought Scour is just like, it's a card that's much better in theory than in practice, in my opinion. Like, it's not an awful card. It's not. Like, there was times where it was fine. But in general, I just think it's worse than playing something like Mishra's Bauble. And there were definitely games where I'd open up on, Serum Visions, Thought Scour, discard spells, 1 land. And I thought to myself, like, at least Bauble here would find me, or, it helps accelerate you into that second land. So I am a bigger fan of Bauble than Thought Scour. The Viziers just weren't that great in my opinion. But, everyone's welcome to play whatever makes them feel comfortable. We don't all have to play the same lists too. Experimentation and growth can only, lead to better things. So that said, this list almost looks like my main deck from the last video, because I do think that in that first video I probably had an almost ideal main deck. It needed the Tome Scour in my opinion, and I ended up cutting the third Thoughtseize for it. Thoughtseize hits a few targets that Inquisition doesn't, but in general Inquisition is the better discard spell. It doesn't hit things like Primeval Titan, Grief, Cryptic Command, but that's about it. Otherwise, Inquisition's usually a little bit better. So we play a 3-2. You could play 4-1, but what's the point? I mean, like, you're not going to draw the one Thoughtseize. And Thoughtseize hitting primetime does matter. So I think 3-2 is probably right there. But the Tome Scour, I'm sorry, has really, really impressed me. So if you haven't tried it yet, I would recommend doing so. Wow. So that's the change to the main deck. It's almost the same. Nothing too shocking here. I think that this deck's pretty good, so I don't need to do any major overhauls, even though I did try other things. I also learned a little bit about the deck in those other matches. So while the main deck didn't change, the board did. So in the last video, we had 2 copies of Empty and an Knave. A lot of you commented saying, hey, we think that this is a little bit redundant. Sure, like one of those empties was supposed to be sided in. I don't think many of you actually watched past the deck tech, if I'm being honest, because a bunch of you were just like, yeah, you're never going to side this in, and then it won a match. So if you're going to make those sort of comments, please at least watch a couple of the games. So empty is better than people give it credit for. That said, in those videos, I thought to myself, hey, if I'm playing Aria, I can't play Bobble because Bobble doesn't trigger Aria, and then Aria doesn't work with Lurrus. So I tried a list with Arias that didn't have Lurrus or Bobble. And Aria, but this was actually the league that I played with Thought Scholars. Wow, it just impressed me so much. It beats a lot of the ways that people are trying to defeat you. So it beats Alpine Moon, Damping Sphere, you know, Leyline of the Void, Grafdigger's Cage, Relic of Progenitus, a ton of those things. It just beats them all on its own. And that, you know, has some value to me. It's not good in every matchup, but it is good in, you know, a decent number. So I liked that quite a bit, but it has this natural friction with Lurrus and Bobble, as I said. Well, so I thought, hey, I can't play those cards. And then I started playing the matchups with that list, and I realized I can play both. So while it does seem like bad deck building, it's secretly not, because if you go to board, you're actually boarding out Bobbles in those matchups anyway. Like, even if you weren't playing Aria, you would be boarding out Bobbles, because you have to fit your pushes, your Echoing Truth, your EEs, all this other stuff. You would have to board out Bobble anyway. And I found myself going, well, I guess I could play Aria and Bobble then. And if I'm playing Aria and Bobble, I might as well run Lurrus as well. So you get the longevity in game 1. Game 2, if you're expecting a lot of yard hate, you can board into Aria, etc. So that's what we're trying to do today. We're trying to get a little bit of A, a little bit of B, hopefully a lot of wins. But Aria was just the card that impressed me the most out of those leagues. And that's the big thing about today, is that we're running Arias in the sideboard and the main deck Tome Scour. I know some of you asked for a video with no Lurrus. Those lists were not very good, in my opinion. You're welcome to play them, but Lurrus gives you that longevity that I think this deck wants and needs in some of the grindier matchups. You can choose not to play them, but you'll end up in top deck mode a lot more often, and I just would rather have access to put Lurrus to my hand to buy back an Underworld Breach or something like that. You are giving up a small amount of equity in those long games. Not every game is a turn 3 win, and I think sometimes people think in these idealistic situations where you always just have a turn 3, and that's not the case. So this is the list today. We are running one less Echoing Truth as well. When you're running triple Aria, you don't need to answer those permanents as often. So if you wanted to, you could run a 2-2 split here. I'm not against that. But today we're running 3 Aria. I'm all about experimentation and seeing how things go, leading to growth in the deck and your own play. Some of you sometimes comment saying that I switch my list too often. That might be true, but also, like, you're not going to find anything new or ways to make the decks better by just playing the same list over and over, which is what we're trying to do. We're trying to break this deck, and part of doing that is just, you know, playing different stuff. But I will get off my pedestal now, and I'll chill for a second, and then we can begin match number 1. So if you appreciate this content, please subscribe. I would appreciate it. A number of you did after that first video, and I am so appreciative. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you're already subscribed, like and comment. It's free and easy to do. Great way to support us. And if you'd like to take that extra mile, you can always become a member. So with our members, from now until the end of August, you will get all videos and deck lists early. Pretty sweet perk. Normally that's a part of our top tier, our Combo Cabal tier, where, you know, at the end of August, that's going to go back to being Combo Cabal only. But for now, you might as well cash in for that $4.99 a month and, you know, get those videos early. Along with the Combo Cabal tier, you do get a free donation deck every single month. Our middle tier, the Stormtrooper tier, you get half off a donation deck every month, but you also get 2 cyborg guides every single month. You just have to message me with which 2 you'd like. And the tiers cascade. So if you're in the top tier, you get everything underneath, including the badges and emotes in our base tier. So make sure you check out this information. It's right next to the subscribe. It says join. Make sure to click that. And if you're looking to, you know, show your support in any other way, we do have donation decks. Make sure to go check those out. We have 3 different tiers. You can even join me here on this channel in that 3rd tier. It's a lovely thing to do. Make sure to go to theepicstorm.com/donation decks to read that information. You can also just go directly to theepicstorm.com/shop, get your pint glass token pack, playmat, t-shirts, stickers, card singles, and much, much more. Once again, that's theepicstorm.com/shop. And I mentioned the token pack. We are down to our final 9 token packs. So if we still have any when this video goes live and you want them, make sure to go check that out. We might not have them in a few days. So we're down to our final 9. We're not getting any more of this token pack. This is the original mini token pack. Once it's gone, it's gone. We're going to have different mini tokens coming in the future, but those are over a month away. So if you want these, make sure to get them while they're in stock. That's it. That's my intro. I hope you enjoyed it. A little bit of preachy, I'm sorry, but sometimes I feel like people don't experiment enough in Magic, and that's what I'm here to do. So today we're playing Aria Flame and Lurrus, a non-bow in our combo deck, along with Mishra's Bauble, another non-bow. So non-bow combo. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you in match number 1. All right, welcome to round number 1. Let's reveal Lurrus, our modern commander, our companion. And unfortunately, we've opened up a hand with just Swamp. We're gonna have to ship this. Bummer. Okay, this hand's pretty good. We can easily bottom the second Lotus Field here. And let's get going. Reveal our Lurrus. No companion for the opponent. Okay. Could be... what's it called? That was actually a bad draw because now I can't fetch. So this could be Heliod Company. There's no black source to fetch with this Misty because we drew the other Watery Grave. There's only a Swamp. Normally I would have liked to lead on Misty there. Alright, not Heliod. Land Destruction. I think we take the Klothys just because it's going to hurt our graveyard. Okay. Well, the deck with Blood Moon in it's probably going to be fairly good against us. Just throwing that out there. Okay. Interesting that they did not cycle Forgotten Cape or Bolt. Okay. So next turn they'll have 4 mana. I am going to Visions here. Bottom these. Sleight of hand, looking for a Twiddle effect. We found one. Nice. Okay. So our opponent's going to have 4 mana here. That is 1 short of casting Plow Under. So next turn we can play Lotus Field. They can't Plow Under Lotus Field. And that's going to leave us in a fairly good spot. Okay, Forgotten Cave, so they're on 3 mana at the moment. Bone Crusher, that's fine. That is just fine. Grapeshot wasn't the best draw, but oh well. So next turn we're starting the turn off with 4 mana between the Lotus Field and the Watery Grave. Twiddle puts us up to 6, which is the magic number, because we need to Twiddle, Wish, Breach, and that gives us enough mana. So we have a Deterministic Kill on our turn. Our opponent cannot interact via Plow Under, Lightning Bolt, or Fury. So feeling pretty good about this as of right now. It just depends on what our opponent's draw step was, and they're passing. Okay. Well, it's better to go get a land out of the deck and a card to the graveyard with this Flooded Strand. We're going to get the other basic island. Okay. Get that island. Tap for blue. Twiddle. Untap. Add red. Wish. We need to leave 1 red floating. Where's that Underworld Breach? Twiddle. Okay, untap. Let's twiddle again. Doesn't really matter what we remove here as long as it's not the twiddle. You can't remove twiddle to itself, so. Alright, now we tap for red. Then we Tome Scour ourselves. We just have the win. Twiddle. Yes. So our opponent's at... Do I just have lethal here? I might be short. Because I have to twiddle and then double grape shot. Yeah, so I don't have it quite yet, but I will in a second. Okay. So now if I twiddle, I should be able to double grape shot. I should probably leave Pact to Negation. It doesn't matter, I'm not going to be able to cast it. Okay, so now we're going to do 11 and 12. Wooch wooch. Turn 4 win. I don't know if our opponent had main deck Blood Moon. There's probably a good chance that they do. But we dodged it. Grape shot. Okay. So now we've officially gotten game number 1. Incoming main deck, Weather the Storm or something silly, right? Okay. So these 5 can come out pretty easy in my opinion. We definitely want the Echoing Truth. I think we probably want Aria. This card helps us easily beat Blood Moon effects. So I mentioned I like that previously. We can board in EE. And so then we were leaving Void Snare on the board for Moon and then EE for something else. You can board in explosives. You could probably board out a Wish if you want. But I think you need to keep in the discard to hit the possible Blood Moon. Everything else is like sort of vital to the deck in my opinion. You could like maybe shave a Twiddle, but then you're slowing yourself down. I think I like this configuration. Hit submit. Friendly reminder, if you're enjoying this content, you like watching Lotus Breach, open up that description down below. In there, you'll find 7 social media networks. They're all delightful, but I would personally recommend joining the Discord. A lot of great combo conversation happening in there, including modern Lurrus Lotus Breach. So check us out. We're a pretty great group. We'd love to have you. On the draw for game number 2. This hand's pretty good. It just needs land number 2. I think I'm down with this. Lead off on a turn with Serum Visions. Alright, Wolf Law, let's go. Throwing Arbor Elf is good for them. Guarantees a turn 2 Blood Moon. Get our basic island here. Woo, our fetch land is finally resolved. Alright, cast Serum Visions. Another field, not great. We're gonna bottom these. I guess if they have turn 2 Blood Moon, it's actually beneficial. As crazy as that is. Forgotten Cave. Okay, no turn 2 Blood Moon. Sure, you can have your Relic. We're going to be looking to win this game with Aria if possible. Come on, land. Okay, take our draw step, not land. We're in a slight. Yikes. I think we just discard a Lotus Field here. Like, keeping the other field would be good if they slam Blood Moon here. But other than that, it's actually kind of bad. 4 mana. Into what? Bloodbraid? The clock is on. Into another Relic. Okay. As long as we can draw a land, I don't care. Because I think we're going to win this game with Aria. So we're going to go to 16. We have some time right now, in my opinion. Okay, draw step. And we hit the land. So I could shock here to kill the Arbor Elf and stop them from casting, you know, their really good 5-drops. I would go to 14 and then 11. I don't hate that. Alternatively, if I hold it, could I Grape Shot next turn for possibly lethal? I think I'm actually going to hold it. I'm gonna hold the sleight of hand for that reason as well. I'm just looking to cast a bunch of spells next turn. Alright, land down. There is a card that I chose not to play around here that costs 5 and we saw it in their hand in game 1. They had their 1 of Pillage. Pillage is a 1 of in the board. That's kind of rough. I mean, they could have cast that regardless, even if I killed the elf, they could have played that. But that is essentially a time walk for the opponent. Alright, sleight of hand. What do you have? Veil of Summer? Yep. We just help them. So right now, we don't have lethal next turn, I don't think. Another Bloodbraid. Into Klothys. So it looks like we're possibly facing down lethal next turn too. So they can get in for 7, put me to 5. Or they can do 6 and put me to 6, yeah. So there's a chance that I have to grape shot their creatures just to stay alive. Inquisition. So how this works is we can play field. I don't think I'm going to be able to do much this turn. Alright, so field comes into play. We're going to sack these two. I have to twiddle. And I don't think I'm supposed to... So I think what I'm supposed to do here is I'm supposed to... if I play Aria, I can't. So I guess it's free to twiddle again. I can't grape shot otherwise. So I'm supposed to Dreamscript first. Yeah, the problem is that I think this Klothys might race our Aria. Okay, now I had red. Play Aria. And then Inquisition into Grape Shot. It's taking a really long time in every decision here. The Pillage was just so backbreaking because it forced us to burn the Twiddles. Alright. Does Inquisition resolve? Well, I think I need to take the Bolt. And now this deals 5. So this will kill all of their creatures. Other than the Klothys, obviously. We're pretty far away from winning here. Okay. Yeah, I can't imagine that we win this game. We would have needed to get really lucky. Oh, so they're on multiple pillage. Looking at the list that I clicked through, they only had 1. So this person's on multiple pillage. Even if we hit like runners on cantrips right now, it's not going to be good enough. So I could twiddle the Seasoned Pyromancer. I mean, I guess it's something. Okay. So we're going to go to 3 here. And they drew another Bolt. Okay, so we're going to game 3 now. We get to be on the play for game 3, so that's nice. I don't think we need to change anything. I think we just needed to draw that second land a little bit sooner. But I would also keep that hand all over again. Like, I don't think that was wrong by any means. If you are unfamiliar, I'm a part of the Eternal Glory podcast. We primarily talk about Legacy. That said, a lot of the stuff that we discuss transcends formats. I think we're pretty entertaining. We're available on all major podcast platforms. Make sure to go check us out. Game 3 on the play. Great keep. I mean, this hand isn't great, but it plays Magic. We're going to lead off on turn 1 Thoughtseize, turn 2 Wishclaw most likely. Playing Thoughtseize early to get through Veil of Summer. Like having my stack right there. So if we take Arbor Elf, their hand is kind of slow, so I think that's the move. Alright. One Swift Teeth, sure. Twiddle's not a bad draw. Let's just cast her Wishclaw now. So I don't know if I want to get Lotus Field next turn because it does come at a, like some risk if our opponent has. We know that they have Relic of Progenitus, but if they have like an Alpine Moon or something, like that could really hurt us. A lot of these lists actually have Chalice, so if we give them Wishclaw, they can activate Wishclaw for Chalice on one, which is pretty backbreaking. So I don't know if I want to activate it yet. I think I might just cast Sleight of Hand and then reevaluate. Run in 6, okay. Okay, let's see what we draw here. Not the worst. See what we can find. I think I'd rather just look for the third land. Or that. Lotus Field is good. Feeling good about this, just need to untap. So we know that they have a Wooded Foothills and a Windswept Heath as lands. They played the Foothills. They still have Heath that we know about. Okay, Pillage away or Claw. That won't matter if we can draw an untapped land. They don't need one with Ren. Okay, so they didn't plus. Alright, so that should just be lethal. Assuming our opponent doesn't have anything meaningful, that is. We could risk it and just play Aria this turn, but if you do that, you open yourself up to getting Blood Mooned. So I don't think that's the correct line. Instead, we're just gonna Peanut Butter and Jam. Alright, Underworld Breach. That's an F6. Would love to untap. Thank you, Twiddle. So we're actually going to beat Panza. Round 1 is the land combo deck. How sweet is that? Like I said, I would love to untap. Thank you. Let's remove this Wish. Just in case they have a Surgical in hand, I don't want to get punished. I mean, if they had a Surgical, I don't think they would have F6, but like, why take the chance? So can I cast both of these? No. That doesn't work. But I can Scour myself. Okay. We're pretty close to double Grape Shot already. Okay, we have 8 in Graveyard. That is enough to double Grape Shot. Okay. So it looks like we're going to get match number 1 over Panza. Cast Grape Shot again. Sort of a bummer we didn't get to abuse Aria in game 2, but that's Magic. Don't always get to showcase the cards you're trying to. Like I said, in the leagues that I was playing this week, it literally beat multiple pieces of hate on its own. But here, the one Pillage just set us a turn too far back, and we were unable to recover in game 2. That said, we still got the match, even without access to Lurrus and post-board games. Pretty good. Let's see if we can get the next 4. Alright, welcome to round number 2. We're on the draw, and this hand is pretty good in my opinion. We're going to keep this. 2 lands, Lotus, Disruption, Twiddle, and Breach. We just need to find that magical Tome Scour somehow, either the main deck one or the sideboard copy, and we have 4 Wish and 4 Wishclaw Talisman to help find it. Interesting draw. Let's see if it ends up being relevant. I don't know if it will. Could always bounce a Voidwalker if we needed to. What do we have here? A scummy Voidwalker? Get out of here. Just get out of here. Alright, so we're likely going to see a Lurgoyf on the next turn from our Jund opponent, Zoob. And there's the Goyf. Okay. Another Twiddle's pretty good. I might actually bounce one of the Goyfs on the end step, assuming that they play a Goyf this turn, just for that scry. Because if we can find the Tome Scour effect, we just win on our turn. Excuse me. What you doing? Another Lurgoyf? Sure. Alright, so we're gonna bounce Goyf and Scry. Don't need these. I think we just pass. So our opponent's gonna put themselves to 16. Can we storm for 8 without does that even matter? I guess they take a twiddle? Or if they think that they might draw another discard spell, they could take a breach. I don't know. Creep shot. I guess that's a pick. We're at 10. I think I like starting on this slate of hand, seeing what our options are. Storm's 1. So we would have to... I think we can actually do this. So storm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I think we've got this. Okay, we're just gonna make a bunch of blue here. This card's looked pretty good so far tonight. I know that some people are not super high on the discard spells. Being in the main deck, I like them in the main deck. I think that they offer a lot of versatility. They help you to be a lot of cards like Voidwalker. A lot of people look at them as only control cards, and I don't necessarily agree with that. Alright, so if we Grape Shot right now, it's 6 into 7, which is only 13. So I'm actually going to Sleight of Hand instead. Another Sleight, pretty good. Alright, and I shouldn't cast this one because it ruins us winning the game, and I would rather win. So we just double Grape Shot here and go to game 2. Woot, there it is. Get out of here with your Voidwalkers. Come on. I like playing this deck a lot. Like, I was going to wait a few weeks to record another video, but the truth is, like, I just find this deck really enjoyable to play, and I wanted to play it again. Usually it's better for video metrics to not record similar videos too close to one another, because those videos then won't perform well. But the first one performed so well already, the only thing that could do is get extra views on it, and I'd rather just like showcase this deck more because this deck is super sweet. Okay. Going to game 2 now. Who says we're not a storm deck? Look at this. This Grape Shot, that looked pretty stormy to me. Alright, so I definitely want the Arias here. Want the pushes in the EEs. All 5 of these can go out. And then you have a question to ask yourself. It's like, what do you think is valuable in this matchup? I think we could probably take out Thoughtseize. One, I don't want to help them kill us, and like, you don't really want that much discard in the deck. Inquisition's fine. So if you want to leave an Inquisition, you have to make concessions elsewhere. And like, I sort of believe in this philosophy is, as good as Inquisition was in game 1, you don't want discard in the Jund Mirror. It's a thing from the past, from like 2011 to 2013. In these Jund Mirrors, you'd often board out your discard because later on in the game you want the better top decks. That's sort of what we're going for here. Is I'm expecting these post-board games to go long, and I want the best draws in my deck as possible. That means taking out Inquisition, even though I could discard a Voidwalker on turn 2. I think just having better cards in our deck will increase that. So I'm going to board out 1 Inquisition, and you could board in the Echoing Truth over one of these. I don't have strong opinions on that, but we are boarding in 5 permanent answers on top of already having the Voyage, and we're looking to dodge the graveyard. So I think I'm going to keep 2 Inquisition and just see how that goes. Like, 3 is fine. It's just that mid-game period where you're discarding to Liliana, or they don't have anything good anyway, it just hurts pretty badly. Yeah. But this hand's solid. We'll try this. Even if they discard us on turn 1, this hand has plenty of like ways to interact. A little bit of dig both ways between Serum Visions and Wishclaw. Spellbomb! Okay. Like I said, we have 3 Arias in the deck. We can just look to beat these effects without ever worrying about them. Let's get rid of that. Is that a Blood Braid? Yeah, it's a Blood Braid. Get out of here, K Command. What are Foothills? Ooh, Lucky Dog. Lucky Dog. They drew their own Inquisition. Wishclaw out. What's Visions? So Spellbomb's a little bit worse than Relic in the fact that, well, that was a weird scry. We're gonna bottom these. Yeah, I don't think I can afford to keep those. Yeah, we can twiddle Spellbomb and force them to sacrifice it on their end step, or even in your main phase. Where with Relic, when it's tapped, you can still pay 1, sacrifice it, and exile all graveyards. So they are different. They're not the same. Okay, let's see what we can draw here. Good one. I also might be able to get my opponent to sacrifice Spellbomb on my next turn just by casting Underworld Breach. I would need to draw a land for that plan to work, but interesting. So I know their last 2. So I think Fatal Push is the right move here. They could cascade into like a Voidwalker, which would be unfortunate. But right now this is a dead card, and if they hit a discard spell and I discard the second Breach, I then have no Breach. And one of these breaches could be used to get them to sacrifice the Nihilus Bob-omb, like I mentioned. Maelstrom Pulse. Okay. So we're going to go to 13 here. I think I'm just going to pass. It's sort of a not great draw. What is this? Lily. Yeah, we have some decent draws here, but we are running out of time. Okay, so I could shock here, go to 8, get them to crack the Spellbomb. And I would go to 5. Okay. I think I'm going to do black-blue, because if they decide not to sacrifice Spellbomb, I'd like to get Wishclaw back. Alright, so this is going to go to the graveyard now, which does give us a card to escape later. We're going to end up discarding Grapeshot to Lily. That's rough. Oh, that hurt a lot. So I think our best draw right now is like a Wishclaw, because we could set up an Underworld Breach turn next turn, or the following turn. But a lot of things need to go right for that to happen. When I with 1 claw or card in hand, another Lotus Field. I don't think we can win this. So we're going to go to 2 here. And even if our opponent doesn't have the answer, or the card that kills us this turn, I don't know what we could draw that could realistically win. That's going to do it. Let's just concede. Okay. Game 3. Let's try this. It's going to be worse if our opponent resolves like a Voidwalker or something, but double E might be a little clunky in this matchup, and on the play, discard definitely has a little bit more value, so it could be a play draw sort of split. I'd love to be on the play, thank you. Sure. This could bite me in the butt, but I'm going to try it. I'm going to go into 6. Okay. We're going to start the game at 17 life and then cast Inquisition. Watery Grave. Okay. So I think I'm going to take the Liliana with the next one. So I think this turn I should cast a cantrip, but then I'm priced into casting Inquisition next turn. Yeah, I'm gonna cast Slight because it gets me a land this turn possibly, where this one is just like, I get to look one card deeper for Slight, I guess is what I'm trying to say here. And we missed. That's a bummer. Alright, so next turn we have to Inquisition to get rid of the Lily. If our opponent, they wanted to, they could trophy right now and then force us to get the Swamp. Okay, I'm gonna shock again and cast Serum Visions. Keeping Slight on top's pretty free, at least in my opinion. Gonna trophy my land. Wooded Foothills. Alright, blue, blue. Lotus Field. We're going to take Aria, but we do know that our opponent has an Assassin's Trophy. So I'm not expecting this to work. We do have one more discard spell in the deck. We could also wish for Thoughtseize. Alright, so we're unlikely to kill in one turn with Aria as well. So it's not like our opponent could tap out and we just like get them with an Aria. We would need a lot more instants in our hand for that to work. I guess suppose they could discard it. Stymian Swamp, so they still have trophy. I believe it's 4 spells with Aria to kill your opponent. So 1 + 2 + 3 + 4. So, or is it 5? So it'd be 3, 6, 10. Yeah, I don't know. That's not the correct math. It might actually just be like 6. It's going to be pretty difficult to just like surprise win with this Aria, I think. Alright, Seasoned Pyromancer getting in there. On 4 cards, 3 of them unknown. Roxa. I think we discard this EE. Okay. Another land. I just have to let it go. I'm gonna discard the Polluted Delta to Kroxa, lose 3 life. But if they do play the Kroxa, we get an opening where if we draw Wish, we could possibly win the game. Interesting. So they're trying to keep the trophy up. They're not. So they're giving me a window here to potentially win with Breach off the top or Wish. I think I need to quit hanging on to this Aria. Like, that Aria is not going to win the game. And this push could buy time to potentially draw into Underworld Breach or something. So we're going to go to 11 here. I think I'm supposed to fetch to Thin. It could end up costing me, but I think I just need to increase my odds of drawing one of those 7 cards that just wins the game on the spot right now. There's also Wishclaw that I think would win the game on the spot. So we have 11 cards right here that just win. Let's see what we can do. Come on, deck, please. Sort of a bummer. Okay. Inquisition's a good draw. So we do know that they still have the trophy in hand. But if I were them, I think you're supposed to just play Kroxa. We need to buy as much time as possible. So I'm just going to kill Kroxa, discard a Twiddle. Because having multiple Twiddles only matters if we draw the Wishclaw and not one of the other 7 red cards that wins. Come on, deck. Oh, we drew Wishclaw. So this is 4 mana plus 2 is 6. 6 mana wins. As long as I don't mess up how we tap, we should win. And by should, I mean we don't have a Tome Scour, but I think we might be able to breach back Aria and then kill with the trigger on this deck. I don't know. Or we can maybe sleight of hand into it. It's going to be tough. But we do have a graveyard with a lot of cards in it. Okay. So now we get Underworld Breach. Twiddle. Let's just start off by removing lands from the game. Okay. So if we twiddle again, we can play Aria, but I don't think that's the right move. I think we're better off just like casting Sleight of Hand, because if Sleight hits another twiddle, it's just like, it keeps us going, but Sleight can also find Wish or Tome Scour. I don't like the randomness of Serum Visions. So I think I'm going to cast Sleight. Once again, removing lands. Well, that's a card to the graveyard. Okay. Replace itself mana-wise. Come on, deck. Is there a line here with Perilous Voyage that wins because I can bounce my own claw? I think there is. Remove Aria. Slight. Inquisition. I think there is a line here that wins. Okay. Yes. So now there's 3 cards in graveyard. I can bounce the Wish Claw, twiddle. Yeah, this does it. These cards being on top don't matter because I can't access them, so whatever. Wow. We're gonna get this. Tap for black. Wish Claw Talisman! The main deck Tome Scour is going to come up here for a win. This is the sort of thing I was talking about. Shoutouts to Jacob Negro or Negro. I don't know how to say their last name, but I got the idea from them. I'm not trying to take credit for this. I'm not some sort of savant. I just saw it in their list, decided to try it out, and look at me now. Twiddle. Okay. I think we should just scour a bunch. Aria, Rip, Wish? Realistically, I don't think I'm casting Wish. Okay, and now our next step is to twiddle again. I probably mentioned it in a previous video, but there was a game where I was doing this, and there's the Grape Shot as well. I wasn't paying attention, and I just scoured myself 3 times, and Shane conceded. Don't be me. Don't do that. So instead, we're going to cast Grape Shot here and just win the game and advance to 2-0. Woot woot. Kablow. Get in there. F6, and that's going to be the end of it. So 2-0, 3 more to go. This deck's sweet. Sort of a bummer though, like Aria was so good for me last night, and tonight I'm just not in the situations where I can realistically cast it. But who knows? By the end of this league, maybe it's would have won a game or will win a game, whatever. See you in round number 3. All right, welcome to round number 3. We are on the play, so we're going to reveal our copy of Lurrus and see what happens. No Lurrus from the opponent. This hand's great. Really good hand, actually. Pretty happy about this one. Has almost everything we need. All right, opponent's taking a mulligan. Let's begin. Watery Grave into Sleight of Hand. Off this Sleight of Hand, we're looking for another Twiddle effect or Lotus itself. Guess we'll take Serum Visions, no choice. ETH, okay. Ooh, Twiddle. I believe that means that we have a win next turn. Don't quote me on that, I'm not positive yet, but I believe that it works. I'll do the math after I draw. So I guess we can do it while our opponent's touching as well. So hypothetically, let's say we draw a dud. Activate Island, go get Lotus. Play Lotus, floating mana off Watery Grave. So we'd have 1 blue. Twiddle Lotus, go up to 3 blue. Down to 2 blue, twiddle. And then we play Underworld Breach, floating 3. And we have 6 cards in the graveyard. We can twiddle once. I think that works. So once again, well, we're facing Heliod, so I think I'm just like free to Wishclaw anyway. But 3/5. We have 6 cards in graveyard. I can even Serum Visions to allow 1 more twiddle. Yeah, I think we've just got it from here. Okay. Now we're going to twiddle again. Add red. Underworld Breach. Twiddle. Yeah, we're not even going to need to cast the visions. So I'm definitely like a visual person, and sometimes I can't see it all in my head. That said, this just wins because we can cast Wish and then escape Wish later. But we have 2, so we don't even need to do that. We can just Twimscour ourselves right now. And we're going to get game number 1 over Heliod Company. So this is one of those matchups that a lot of people are like, well, you should be playing Thassa's Oracle. Thassa's Oracle, Heliod Company's a deck. I don't want to twiddle, my bad. That is a completely reasonable take. I'm not trying to make fun of those people whatsoever. The thing is, Heliod Company isn't that popular, and the matchup's already favorable. So, like, why would you want to play Oracle? There's games where they could hypothetically race you. Like, I'm not saying that doesn't happen. I'm not trying to deny that possibility. But in general, you are favored, and you can often race. And even if you can't, sometimes you can force them into a position where they have to choose a number, and then you can grape shot higher than it, at least in online. All right, we're just going through the motions at this point. Okay, now we have to twiddle again. I like twiddle online because it's white border and it's easy to find when you're breaching. Opponents had enough. Awfully nice of them. All right, Heliod Company. So I think we want the explosives, we want the Echoing Truth, and we want the Fatal Pushes. You stay in the board. No one gave you permission to leave. Get rid of these. And I think a discard spell. Is there anything that I would want to hit that's 4 or greater? I'm about to check Goldfish. Why don't I bring it over with me? Where are you, Heliod? Not on the front page. Like I said, it's not very popular. Alright, I'm just... Oh, there it is. 1% of the metagame. Collected Company, that's a reason to leave it in. So, 2 copies of Endurance recently. Eidolon. Okay. Maybe I want to leave all 4. Maybe I just do... No, I probably want all 3 Fatal Push. They do have a bunch of the Ranger Captain Eos. Here's a crazy thought. What if I only do 1 Explosives? It looks like they're not on Damping Sphere anymore, which is the reason I like boarding in Explosives in this matchup to begin with. So... I can also just board in the Void Snare. I think I like this. Let's do that instead. Let's go. Lurrus, my companion, my friend. Alright, so we just have to draw land number 2 in this hand's a win. So we're going to keep this. I'm going to 5 cards to 4 cards. They might not know it, but they're not out of it. We do have to draw a second land. We're on the draw, so our probability goes up, but they're still in this game. Thinking on these 4, so they're likely keeping. Okay, they kept 4. Harbor Elf, good start. Not a land. I think we're supposed to take the call. Because that gets Eidolon with Rhetoric. We just have to draw a land. Come on, deck. We missed. We're going to lose to a mulligan to 4. Yep, we're going to lose to a mulligan to 4. Darn it. That's tough. Like I said, they weren't out of it when they were mulliganing. We kept a hand with explosive power, but now we're getting punished. You have all the mana, so they can make 6 mana here. They can pump their Ballista and attack. So if we just draw land 2, we can still do stuff. But we also need to draw Fatal Push. I can't tutor up Wishclaw up Fatal Push because then they can just get another Captain Ranger Vios and we're in a bad loop. Alright, I'm going to concede. Unfortunate. It didn't pay off. We lost to the Mold of 4. I knew the risk, but we're just going to keep our head up and try to win this next one. Alright. If you missed it earlier, make sure to check out our mini token pack. We're down to our final 9 copies. For $12, you get 54 combo tokens, 20 Storm, 10 black, 10 red, 5 blue, 3 of the rest, 54 goblins on the back for your copies of Empty the Warrens, and they are mini. They're half the size of a standard Magic the Gathering card. Go check those out at theepicstorum.com/shop. On the play for game number 3. Let's do it. This seems reasonable. I'm taking a mulligan. Okay. So we're going to get Watery Grave and cast Serum Visions. I think I actually like casting Thoughtseize next turn. Okay, so we're going to Thoughtseize in Sleight of Hand. Jeez. I think we're supposed to take the Company. Just let them get Eidolon because we have the Echoing Truth. Okay. So they played Thicket. They can play the Sprawl in the Forest. And then they can call and play a 2-drop, or they have to wait a turn to play Eidolon. Be interesting to see what they get here. Ballista, okay. Does that mean that they drew Heliod for turn? So I think I'm supposed to leave up Echoing Truth so I don't die. Alright, let's just Sleight of Hand here. So I'm stuck in a weird spot right now where if I Echoing Truth, I need to be able to win, but I need to make a land drop. Yeah, so they drew the Heliod. So they played their land. So if I bounce Ballista right now, they can untap Ballista, but then they're a mana short of winning the game. So I would need to win on my turn or find a discard spell. So you might be thinking, like, why don't you just let it resolve? Or actually, a discard spell wouldn't do it. So the problem with, like, not bouncing in response is that they don't need to just activate here to kill me. They can do it at any time. So I think what happens is I need to bounce and then draw a push or discard spell if they choose not to replay. They've played their land, so they can't play and activate this turn. Then I don't know what their last card in hand is. But if we draw a Lotus Field, we just win. Big if. So a Fatal Push could possibly buy us some time here. Let's see what the draw is. I don't think that's going to do it. It could potentially find Lotus, I guess. All right. Does this do it? Guess we're going to find out. Blue. Okay, now we tap this for red. Play Wishclaw. Go get Breach. And that's a win. Ding, 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 ding. I love you, Sleight of Hand. Don't ever be Thought Scour. Twiddle. Twiddle. Yes. Okay. So technically I could just Grape Shot here. Is there any downside of me doing that? I don't think so. Like, I don't think they're, like, they could potentially have Blossoming Calm, I guess. But, like, Heliod doesn't play that card. Okay. Now Grape Shot again. And I can't think of any 1-mana green card that they could be, green or white card they could be realistically playing to gain them life. No Thassa's Oracle necessary. We got the win. We did it. We're 3-0. 2 rounds to go. Let's keep it up. Okay, round number 4. Both of us have companions this round. We're on the draw. And once again, I'm going to risk the 1-lander. I think that this hand is good enough where it's worth doing that. I don't know what Yorion means in Modern. Apparently it means green-white hate bears. It could be band control, I guess. What do I know? Apparently nothing. I don't know what's happening anymore. Please forgive me. Not a land. Once again, I'm going to get Punisher keeping 1-lander. It's my fatal flaw. Let's bottom these. I just love 1-landers too much. Find a good 1-lander, take it home to your parents, you know, that sort of thing. Alright, so Ragavan's going to connect. Probably exile my land. Yeah, well, that's an okay land for you to exile. I actually don't mind you exiling Lotus Field. Really? I guess we drew a land. But Thalia, come on. No one likes her. Alright. So we do have a main deck bounce spell, but that Thalia is going to slow us down quite a bit. Probably not winning game 1 if we're being realistic here. So they can cast Wish, but they won't be able to cast any spells. I guess if they could play a land for turn, they could cast something that costs 0. Or a land. I think if I draw a Voyage off my draw for turn or the Sleight of Hand, there's a chance we could maybe win, but it's pretty low. Red in taxes. Is that what we're facing here? It is. We're facing red in taxes. So this is going to be a tough matchup for us. Red usually means Blood Moon, just a heads up. And Blood Moon happens to be very good against what we're doing. Ooh. I do like that. Pass the turn. One has 3 cards in hand. If we drew a land, I think there's a chance we can win. It would have to be an untapped land. But we tap Lotus for 3, Grape Shot Thalia, Twiddle Lotus twice. No, 5. Okay, we're a mana short. So if I drew another Twiddle, it just doesn't work. We can't win this turn. That's what the real, like, so I think the game plan changes then to Grape Shotting as many of those creatures as we can. So I might have to burn my Dream Scripts just to Grape Shot. Okay, so they're casting Slight. 5 cards now. Jeez. Cauldra. Alright, so each Dream Script makes 1 mana. So now we need to storm up to 5. So we have grip, grip, bobble, Thoughtseize, grape shot. Does that work? I don't know if that actually works. I guess I could leave like Ragavan in play if I needed to. So am I supposed to Thoughtseize Grape Shot then? So that way in case they have another Thalia, I don't lose? The downside is I'm less likely to win next turn. Maybe I just need the draw off the bobble. Oh, this is tough. Like, they're sitting on 4 cards plus call draw. What are the odds that they don't have something devastating next turn? Probably pretty low. I just don't think it's real. Like, I think I need to play the bobble. Sorry for deliberating for so long. Actually, I can Thoughtseize post Grape Shot. Okay. Now we bobble. Another Stoneforge. Okay, so there's a chance that we get this now. Alright, Wish was not a good draw. Sure. Even if we drew Underworld Breach, I don't think we can win. We needed a better draw this turn. Sure. We needed to draw like Twiddle and then like a basic land or another Twiddle. That could have won the game. So a Twiddle off the top doesn't do it because we can Twiddle into Wish, but that's exactly 5 mana. We can cast Breach, but then we can't do anything with it. And if we just draw Underworld Breach, there's no blue mana to cast Dreamscript on Tap Lotus. So I think like no matter what happens, we're dead here. Okay, take our draw. Let's activate Pluto Delta, why not? Game 2. So these Fatal Pushes are probably decent Magic cards. Echoing Truth. Definitely taking this out. We probably want these. It's a lot of cards. So we have 5 cards that need to go out. I think they should be the 5 discard spells, most likely. I guess they do hit a lot. So alternatively, we could board out the baubles. Maybe that's better. Yeah, that's probably better. Do something like this. Why not? Let's try it. On the play. Lurrus. Not a keepable hand. Sure. I don't love this hand just because, like, this hand looks really good, but it doesn't interact with the opponent. And that's what I'm worried about. Like, we have a turn 3 Lotus and a turn 3 Breach, but what are we doing? We're probably losing to a Thalia. And on top of that, even if we go Lotus Breach, what are we doing with that Lotus and Breach? We don't have a payoff yet. Okay, so we're just going to cast Claw here. Incoming Thalia. Okay. Am I crazy for thinking we just get Lurrus here? Like, I could give them Claw, but then they just put Thalia into play. So I think I just want to play Lurrus. Alright, going to 16. And the Drannith Magistrate stops us from returning cards with Lurrus or Underworld Breach. So we will need a Fatal Push this or remove it. Imperial Recruiter, yep. Magus of the Moon. I think it's actually right here to push and play Lurrus. Let them turn everything into mountains. Play Lotus Field, and then push the Magus. Let's go. I'm an aggro deck. Rawr. Actually got my Japanese foil signed Lurrus back in the mail not too long ago. Kind of cool that I'm playing it again. We shipped it out so far, like long ago that like when I shipped it, companions were still a thing. at least in Legacy. So it's been a while. And now the cat's back. There's the Magus. Okay, so we don't have a real payoff here. Like I said, I can use Wishclaw to go get Lotus, but then what? So let's think about this. Hypothetically, activate Wishclaw, activate Wishclaw. Do I think I could win if I possibly gave them something? No. Offer the trade. So another thought is like, what if I activate Wishclaw and they just get like failure or something, and then next turn, breach, push, breach. Sorry, I'm just like trying to think out my options here. Because like if they also draw into Skyclave Apparition, then I'm really far behind. So I think I'm just gonna like put Lotus into play and then deal with whatever comes next. Because like we'll be able to remove the Magus. I guess right now I actually can't. Okay. Alright, so that's gonna remove our push, which is kind of annoying. Jeez. I don't think I'm winning this now. I guess I could EE for 3. I did board in 2 EEs. That's our out here. Okay. Do I even want the push? Probably. No, I think I'm actually supposed to bottom it. Oh, I can't do that. 1 spell per turn. Need to find one of our 2 copies of Engineered Explosives. Okay. Going to 11. Yep. It's going to be a tough game for us to win, but it's doable. They're activating Wishclaw. That's interesting. Second guessing it now? Okay. So they have 6 power. They have 10 power in play. So if they get like a path here, they can put me to 1. Kiki Jiki. Okay. That's. Am I supposed to know they're playing Kiki? I did see the Felidar Guardian. Another Dream's Grip. I mean, realistically, I need to win right now, or win pretty quickly. So I'm just going to go get the explosives. I can cast it next turn for 3. So they're going to swing for at least 5 in the air. I don't know if this is a winnable game. So they can cast Kiki and copy Imperial Recruiter. If there's a untap effect that wins for 2 mana, they could win. I don't know if there is. There could be. It looks like they're just going to choose to pass. Not blocking. Yep. Okay. So I think I'm supposed to suicide the Lurrus, but they can copy Pale or Sanctifier and block. So like either way, I'm losing the Lurrus, so it doesn't really matter. And realistically, I'm probably just dead. But EE can get me out of, like, it could theoretically get me out of this, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But then again, we're just dead to Kiki combo, so it doesn't matter. Because we can blow up all this stuff, but they can just go get Felidar Guardian. And they did. I mean, they also had the Wishclaws for that. They didn't need a copy Imperial Recruiter. So we're 3-1, unfortunately. Obviously, this is sort of a tough matchup for us, but we had a fighting shot. We just didn't get there. Let's see if we can get round number 5. The fifth and final round. We are on the play. Reveal our Lurrus. And let's try to get this one. Great hand. Wow. Yes, I would like to keep this. Hell yes. Start off by getting Watery Grave. And Inquisition. I guess we take Snap. Somebody with the username Phantasmal Bear sure is playing what looks to be a control deck. Shame. I think we just cast the Visions. I left this open in case we drew a discard spell. We did not. We're just going to bottom these. We don't need those. Okay. They played Strand. I can cross that out. Glacial Fortress and Wall of Omens. So we sort of have a window to win here. Wow, the main deck Scour. Can we do this now? That changes a lot. I think we just won. Assuming our opponent didn't draw Force of Negation. So we have 6 mana into Breach. Yeah, this does it. Okay. Underworld Breach. Twiddle. Okay, now we Scour. Twiddle, why not? Scour. I'll be able to double Grape Shot pretty quickly here. They're at 19, so 9 plus 10. So I just have to Twiddle and then Grape Shot, Grape Shot. Okay. Turn 3 against the control deck. Love it. Okay. Lotus Field, Slight Grip. Kaplow. And a concession. Let's go to that post-board game. Alright, so Aria's a little weird here because they do have Teferi. We saw Prismatic Ending. I don't know if I love it, but it does beat things like Rest in Peace. The nice thing about Aria here is we do have 6 protection spells to back it up. So I think I'm going to go ahead with the Aria plan, and that means I'm going to board out Baubles. So we still have 1 open slot. I don't mind boarding in EEs to catch random things. I'm not a huge fan of Voyage. I could board that out. I don't know if there's any reason to board and push. I'm also like open to trying a 1-1 split here. Yeah, I think I like the split more. Just because Voyage is like a clean, cheap answer for the most part. Okay, let's try this. Let's go Aria of Flame. We kept 7. I mean, this hand's fine. It just needs to find Lotus. Might be tough. We don't really have any way of finding it other than just like natural draw steps with our initial 7. Ding! Okay, we're gonna try to curve this. Okay, like a Spell Pierce. Flusta. Gotta say like you're from Boston. That wasn't very Boston, but like Flusta. That's a little more Boston for you. But yeah, Flusterstorm. Pretty good against us. Decent magic card. We're still going to try to jam Klon too. And there's the Rest in Peace. So we can also win via empty, don't forget that. If we don't happen to find Aria. There's also a chance that like the Wish Claw gets eaten by Prismatic Ending. Okay. So we could use Claw to go get Lotus Field. The problem is if they have an Alpine Moon, good draw. Alright, so I think I'm just going to Slight. Don't need another Lotus Field. So I think I'm just going to play this and pass. And it's on 5 cards. Part of the issue is that I don't really want to use Wish Claws. So many Lotus Fields. to help me combo, because then I'm giving them a sweeper for the empty off the Wish. If they want to counter this, I'm good with that, sure. I actually wouldn't mind drawing a few lands, because then we could play the other field out, and they're just going to pass. Do I dare just try to jam Aria? I think I'm going to try to play Wish here, see if this eats a counter spell. If not, I can grab Bobble. Good deal. Okay, 4 cards in the opponent's hand. So now they hypothetically have Cryptic up. Or Dovin's Veto, something like that. Counterspell. I'm just gonna jam. So the reason I'm jamming is next turn we can empty off these. Interesting, Aria resolved. I must have the answer for it. So like Cryptic is sort of an issue with Aria. They can also just have Prismatic Ending. Tough. Yeah, there's the tough. So tough is kind of an issue because like this Wishclaw could have gotten packed throughout this game and now it can't. I'm gonna cast the Visions. Okay. Just pass the turn. What are you doing? Another Wall of Omens. Different art. Shame. Okay, so they still have 4 cards in hand. I imagine they're not all bad cards. They just let our Aria resolve because they knew that they could bounce it. There are Restos. Can they blink? Is it permanent creature? Not an angel creature. Okay. I just want to make sure they couldn't blink to fairy. I guess we're going to try this Aria again. Winning with Goblin seems pretty difficult. Here comes a Resto. They're going to blink Wall of Omens, draw a card, and then get a card for their draw step. So they'll have 2 unknowns going into next turn. And with 32 life, I think we need to cast like 8 spells to win with Aria off the top of my head. It might be 7. But I think it's 8. We have a guaranteed 4 off Wish, and then 5 with Wish Claw. So like a cantrip would be a good draw for us. That last spell could also just be an empty, hypothetically. Cryptic. Okay, they're main phasing it. So that means that they're looking for like a Prismatic Ending here. Okay, so we drew a land. I don't know necessarily how I feel about that. So something we could do here is Wishclaw for Perilous Voyage, bounce Rest in Peace, and then try to win using the graveyard. But our opponent had 3 fresh draws. I guess they have 2 unknowns because they didn't play Foundry, so they have 2 blank cards in their hand. If either is a counterspell, we lose if I take that line. A little bit worried about that. That said, empty doesn't race this, so I think that's just like the best line that I have. So if you have a counterspell opponent, you've got me. And I think I actually messed up by fetching first, because that's 1 card not on my graveyard. So be better than me at Magic and think this stuff through. But for now, I'm going to get Perilous Voyage and just cast it on the Rest in Peace. Okay. Not a whole lot I can do about that. Okay. Like I said, the Angel races us. Like, I can twiddle the Lotus twice, going up to 6 mana, then wish down to 3. So I can't even cast empty. I could like Echoing Truth the Angels, I suppose, to buy time, but like, is that even good enough? Might as well cast some spells, I guess. Okay. Got this for red. Let's cast Wish. And like I said, we can Echoing Truth the Angels, and then they'll take 5, but like, they can just recast the Angels. Wishclaw for another Teferi. They can also just plus, because we can't do anything next turn. I think they just got us here. Yeah. Let's just go to game 3. I think I'm going to board in the explosives. I think that was wrong to leave it in the board. What goes out, though? Is it crazy to board out the 4th Wish? Probably not. It is a little bit clunky when we're also siding into Aria. I'm going to try this out, I suppose. Okay. This hand is so bad. I don't think we can keep this. It's just like all of the random 1-ofs in the deck that aren't very good on their own. Yeah, I don't think we can afford to keep this. Of course. Getting punished for mulliganing. Yeah, we're gonna keep this 5 and just hope for the best. Bottom Perilous Voyage and a Twiddle. I mean, this hand could win the game. I'm not saying it can't. It's an uphill battle. Is there really a Chalice of the Void? Sure. Alright, so if we draw a land, we can play Claw on 2. And then Lotus on turn 3. We didn't draw a land. Okay. Land, please. This is a brutal way to end the league. Start off so hot, too. Yep. Did not minus Tef. That's interesting. Doesn't matter, though. Like, I don't think you're supposed to keep the 7. The 7 wasn't a good hand. Sure. Alright. Expressive Iteration. Okay. Likely not winning this one, but we're still gonna try. This is just bad luck. Guess they played on 0. Can theoretically blow up a Chalice. I don't know. The odds that we win this game are incredibly low at this point. Okay. They minus to draw a card. A land. There's no point in casting Wishclaw because our opponent can just bounce it with Teferi next turn, so we're just going to cast a Slight. Okay, so we're going to go to 8 off this Resto. Alright. So, I mean, they're feeling pretty confident. They're not drawing cards with this. But I'm going to keep on trying to win. Come on, protection spell. There we go. Get out one of those counters. Okay. Yep. So our opponent can attack us, put us to 5. So next turn we're dead to another Restoration Angel, a Snapcaster, a Bolt, Fire Ice, a number of things. Lotus Field is not an ideal draw. Realistically, we can't win right now if our opponent even has a single counter spell. So part of me is wondering if this is supposed to be a turn where we just like play like double Wishclaw or something. You know that there's Snapcaster in their deck too. Am I supposed to just hope that their hand's like all removal and lands? I don't know. I don't think this decision ultimately matters that much. I think that we're likely just dead either way. Okay, so they let breach resolve. Are you just like messing with me? You like disenchant? Fair chair. Yep, that'll do it. Okay, so we went 3-2, not the best result, but it's fine. Tough to complain about this league. When we look at our matchups, let's return to league details. We had, what was this? Was this the Jund round? Oh no, that's match 5. So it was, I can't remember, I'm so old. I know that this was the red-white Death and Taxes deck. This was Helia Company. The first round was like Jund into... I just can't remember. I remember that obviously all of these rounds were like pretty close. We got stomped by the red-white Taxes deck, and unfortunately we had some land issues. So what could we possibly do with this list? Let's take a look at that. So coming back to here, honestly, I probably don't want to change the deck too much. You could argue that like maybe we want a 21st land. I don't know if I agree, but you could cut the Perilous Voyage slot for a land if that's how you feel. You can maybe go down to 4 discard. That's another option. I don't know if I like that, but it's something you can do. I'm just throwing out options for you. I think 20 land's probably where you want to be, and I just hit some rough luck, but who knows. Let me know what you think. I'm aware that Arya did not perform that well this league. Sort of a bummer considering how good it was for me last night, but it wasn't good in this video, so I don't know what to say. Sort of a bummer it didn't get to showcase completely, but it is a good way for you to dodge graveyard hate. And I understand that there's no video evidence, but try it out. I talked a little bit in the beginning about trying things just to see how you like them. Just try it. I'm sure, you know, it will be fine. I guess that's what I'm trying to say here. Hopefully you enjoyed this video despite being an average league. Take care, cheers, keep storming. Hey, Brian Cook here. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, but also follow the social media channels down below. If you want to support this content directly, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/shop. And if you need a little bit of assistance with the Epic Storm to get to that next level, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/tutoring. Don't worry, there's more great content coming right up.